Season 5, Motion and Forces, Episode 120, Levers. Welcome, strangers. Okay, so the fulcrum, Fulcrum, is the lever's pivot point. Pivot as in P-I-V-O-T, yeah? You know, pivot is also part of my mnemonic for power is equal to current times voltage. Because you know the piv of pivot, P equals IV. Anyways, back to levers. Levers are like a bar that can lift things by pushing on one side of the pivot. They're very old school technique, you know? Like desert island basic skills, yeah? The turning effort used here means for less manual effort The turning effort used here means for less manual effort, you can lift heavier things. Wheelbarrows and crossbars use lever technology. I mean, is it really technology? Well, sure, it's technology. Of course it is. Wheelbarrows and crossbars use lever tech, yeah? I mean, it's basically just moment is equal to force multiplied by distance. And well, it's just the torque. Torque as in Torque. Torque is a turning force. Is generally used interchangeably with the word moment. I mean, for the engineers out there, well, sure, torque is more in terms of rotation, and moments can be used when stuff is bent as well. Okay, so we don't need a universal theory of everything, like Hawking looked for. You know Stephen Hawking? Cool guy. Well, we don't need a theory of everything. There are so many connections between all fields. I mean, fields in maths, for example, you know, like mathematics. Fields in maths are sets. Well, groupings of groupings of rational numbers, which means numbers that can be expressed in a fraction form that satisfy the rules for the systems in question. These possibility fields are considered to be the current reality, which is interesting because in recent physics knowledge, as in the latest centuries, the buzzword really is relativity, yeah? I reckon it's not really just potentials being simultaneously generated and constantly being generating, but overrun into presence by perception, but it truly is how the person running in space-time can distort the very fabric of their reality, and these distortions can amplify their perception of their reality. I think, therefore I am, said a certain someone. Okay. Electric fields are like bumper cars, yeah? As in reality, they don't have to necessarily physically touch, as they can swerve, but still, that act is impacting both sets of riders in the car, so it impacts the fields themselves. So in line with the EPR paradox, spooky action occurs albeit at the distance. Is it albeit or albeit? Okay, ALBEIT. Okay, which is unnatural to a person, as it suggests a non-linear. Non-linearity. Okay, you can tell I'm a bit tired. Okay, anyways, so that non-linearity, rarity. Okay, that is governing the universe as we know it. It's basically just the potential energy that is stored from the increasing altitude that you can convert to kinetic energy in theory. I mean, obviously, like always, you don't live in a vacuum, And even vacuums have potentials in some sort of like form or field per se, if we're sticking to the Matt's theory version as well. So like you will have wasted energy, so converted to thermal energy, and maybe sound energy. It's funny how the giants who are well known in these fields are like the legends, untouchable, absolutely untouchable. Or like in Inspector Calls, unsinkable, absolutely unsinkable, says a certain Mr. Berlin. The play, sorry, not book, is by J.B. Priestley. Really cool play. We're learning in English. Well, we learned in English last year. Really fun. Totally recommend. Epic play. Anyways, okay. So these people are legends, and we don't really try as hard anymore, as we kind of like everyone assumes that theoretical physics is dead, and there's no scope for it anymore. Well, actually, I bet it's alive for as long as there are problems, right? And there are minds that can try working with the problems. I'd like to be a theoretical physicist, but working closely with experimental physicists, in that I could offer ideas that they might miss, hopefully. It's all about communication, yeah? That's what I think. I mean, it's kind of obvious, I think, that since I'm talking on the grand scheme of YouTube, apparently, yeah. I don't know why I find that funny. It was kind of funny. I'm gonna stick with it. The world is not in neat mathematical fields or sets or whatever. It's an interconnected universe where ideas constantly being formulated and perceived into present minds. Technically, the Earth's momentum has slightly changed because, like the crash test of the dummy. Like, it smashed something into a wall or something. Well, a car, it's a crash test. Yeah, that's allowed, that's legal. Not a car crash. A crash test with a dummy, with a porcelain thing. Mannequin or something. Crash test dummy. Okay. But like, this changes the Earth's momentum slightly. But like, because the Earth is made of so much stuff, so much matter, so it has a huge mass, this doesn't matter so much to the egotistical Earth. The Earth teaches how these change. The Earth teaches? No, the Earth is content. Content? The Earth is content? Sure, the Earth can be personified as being content. The Earth is happy, knowing that the change is absolutely negligible, and no one in their right mind would be nitpicking the minuscule changes in the Earth's momentum. Chaos theory teaches how these tiny changes in potential over time can lead to massive consequences in the future. See, even I, because of popular culture nowadays, have to succumb to the mass hysteria. Well, I think I just skipped a few lines in my notes. Okay, chaos theory teaches how these tiny changes in potential over time can lead to massive consequences in the future. See, even I, because of popular culture nowadays, have to succumb to the practicalities of a Newtonian dream universe of rainbows and sunshine and perfection, which doesn't actually exist in reality. I mean, yes, Newton, a great guy, great work, but we're in a quantum universe now. And we cannot just ignore the anomalies. As much as I want to, I do. Obviously, I'm a GCSE kid, I have to ignore the anomalies. You have to circle it and go, this is an anomaly. You draw your funky little arrow and go, yeah, this is an anomaly. Anomaly. A-N-O-M-A-L-Y. Yeah. I could spell anomaly. That was not that funny. Ignore the anomalies, even though they'll build up and blow in my face later. Just because of some authority of mass hysteria, also known as the scientific community, as in, the big guys who believe that rationally, we ought to not nitpick, or we go insane, and those who do think like that must have lost their minds somewhere along the line. I mean, obviously I love science. I love the scientific community, really interesting. But maybe we ought to be more open-minded more, you know? I get that it's more of a protective mechanism so that they don't get like pseudoscience, but like who's to say what's pseudoscience? Consider, think, be a scientist. You have to nitpick sometimes. You need to analyze. You need to think, well, there's a lot of things that could go wrong here. You know what I mean? Just consider. Like, don't act like it's done and dusted. See, now I firmly believe that the perceived crazy, with my ironic quotation marks, crazy people have the most to offer. So we need to listen to people like them, like us, like me. I mean, hopefully. They're not meant to be dead in history in diaries or podcasts or books, but let us live now, you know? Let us think and matter. Let us do something that's useful, you know? I mean, I'd hope this is useful someday. We don't need to make perfections in a universe where there just cannot be, you know? We are imperfectly perfect. We are perfect in our imperfections. It's great. It's good. It's not fair to chase a theory of everything, as it invalidates everything, as it arrogantly suggests that everything compiles to this one specific thing. Everything is also subjective. It's a game of semantics, really. I mean, on a strange, peculiar level. I really think if anything has the most impact recently on physics, it's the revival of connecting concepts between fields on the back of popular science's increasing engagement with chaos. Chaos was a revolution, absolutely epic, loved it. I mean, obviously I wasn't alive then, but I can see the influence it's made. However, even Feigenbaum said, it's a fraud to have named the subject chaos, which is true. So really, it's a pointless endeavour to play with linguistics. It drove Ehrenfest, you know, Ehrenfest, Paul Ehrenfest, amazing science communicator. I've said this multiple times. Absolutely epic guy, love him. I mean, I love his work. It drove him into a nightmarish existence, a cauchemar, if I'm being French. I don't know if I said that right. It's C-A-U-C-H. Is there E? Yeah. C-A-U-C-H-E-M-A-R. Cauchemar! Nightmare. Yeah. French for nightmare. Yeah, I don't think I pronounced that right. Excuse me, I'm really sorry, but I tried. I tried. Okay, so drove him to a nightmarish existence of disassociation as he pushed for classical mechanics in a world that had grown too accustomed to it that it lost its novelty, thus losing the interest of the scientific community at large, leaving great science communicators like him in the dust while his friends were arguing the same semantics game. He said, I'm ashamed of you. You are arguing against quantum theory, just as your opponents argued against relativity theory. We're not here to debate, you know what I mean? We're here to consider the music, the theories, the music in the theories of physics. Classical mechanics, all the great legendary work, it's still relevant. It's just we're using it in different scenarios, different situations, to face new problems, to further physics, you know what I mean? Theoretical physics, absolutely epic, love it so much. But the thing is, Oppenheimer's right. There's only so far that theory can take you. That's why you need to work with experimentalists and gather data and see how it works. I mean, sure, experiments are biased and there's errors, but it's worth it. It's the scientific process. I'm just saying, with the scientific community, we need to consider other ideas. We We don't need to compact everything into a perfect box. We need to talk with biologists, chemists, psychologists. Hell, we could talk to anybody, like a random dude on the street and go, hey, what do you think about life, the universe, and everything, and atoms and cells and nothingness and Bohr and time traveling and supernatural phenomena. I mean, we just need to talk more, communicate more, be curious. Yeah. Mathematics. It's very important, I think. That's why I want to do A-level further maths ideally, because I need that base. I need that strong, indisputable mathematical base. So nobody can ever tell me, hey, you're just a philosopher, or you're just like a random rambling stupid idiot. You know what I mean? So we need to consider the music in the theories of physics. Past, present, future, and beyond. Super cool stuff. See you next time at Physics in Necrotic World. Oh yeah, this is the end of season 5. Season 6 is space. Cool stuff. Next week, space. That's fun. See you next time at Physics in Necrotic World. This was really fun. Thanks. This is your host, Rimona Christian, R out.